You know what? The thing about action is that it's spiritual, man. Well, everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual, meaning, everything you do or don't do is affecting everything else, like on some level. So it's like, if you start doing push-ups every day, it's growing and building your muscles. You're using your chest muscles, but that's not just your chest that's involved. It's touching a little bit of the triceps and a little bit of the shoulders and a little bit of the abs and a little bit of the quads. You know what I mean? A little bit of those shin muscles. Like, everything that's being used to perform the push-up, and even though your main focus might be the chest, so many other things are being implemented in supporting that effort. That's what makes it profound. That's what makes everything you do profound. Everything works that way. It's never just the one thing that's happening. So when you don't do it, right? When you don't take an action in a reverse manner, it's having the same effect. It's in this case, you have multiple muscles that are not being used, which means you have things that would otherwise be communicating and working together that are now not communicating and not working together. And so you lose out. It becomes about consequence at that point. Cause and effect. Action is on the cause side. And see, when you start taking actions, you start perpetuating motion. Things are going forward. Things start happening. Things start building. One thing affects the next. You wake up in the morning, you think a good thought. That good thought is supposed to lead to a good deed. That good deed leads to a good result. And next thing you know, when you perform this continuously, you're now entering, a discipline. You now become disciplined. It's a method. It's something you do every day. Something you can account for. You want to be in it. Everyone's in it for the effects. Everyone's in it for the consequences, but nobody wants to look at what happens if you don't. See, that's the scary zone. See, that's when the muscle begins to atrophy. When you don't use it, it no longer has the strength. It no longer has the endurance. It no longer has the stamina. It hasn't been working with the body to cause the body to say, hey, we need this much protein and this much vitamin E and this much vitamin D and, all the things that got to come together to make the muscle grow. It's the same thing with an action towards your dream. You don't make that move. You don't make that phone call. You don't put that plan together. You don't make that investment. You don't make that meeting. You don't hold that appointment. You don't communicate. You start to atrophy your opportunities. And your opportunities, they can't move. And you start to wonder, well, why is this not happening? And why is this not happening? And how come this didn't come into play and that didn't come into play? And you don't realize it's got something to do with the fact you didn't take that action a month ago. And it's the same thing on the flip side. Because you did take that action a month ago, this is now opening up. And that's now opening up. And that's now opening up. The same way those other muscle groups also begin growing and getting defined when you just do a push-up. It's about action, because action is about perpetuating consequences, benefits, things that you'll gain. When you don't do that, you have the opposite effect. It's imperative, it's critical that we take actions. And actions are unlimited. There's so many little things. Don't undermine it. It doesn't gotta be a big, huge thing that you do. It doesn't have to be a save the world move. It doesn't even have to be a save the day move. It just has to be a good move. You know, thinking a good thought, being thankful that you woke up in the morning, that's a good move. Eating healthy is a good move. Exercising is a good move. Telling yourself you love you, telling your loved ones you love them, that's a good move. All of that starts to spawn different energies. Before you know it, you get halfway through the day and all of a sudden you do have the energy to go make that meeting. You can't wait for that meeting because you've done the little things to lead up to it. Take action. Every little beneficial action you can think of that sets you up to achieve your goal is something you got to be religiously bound to. Take action.